So my name is Rita, and are any of you, you've had acupuncture before, right? It's one of the most powerful medicines I found altogether, and it's a 5,000-year-old medicine. And what I love about it is that it's all-encompassing. So it's not just treating the symptoms of something, it's treating as well the root of all issues, the root of the problems as well. And how I work, basically, Chinese medicine is acupuncture, it's herbal medicine, but also I work a lot with diet, because I find diet is the most, it's something everybody's eating every single day, and food is medicine. It's the most powerful medicine because you're doing it every single day. You can come for acupuncture sessions maybe once a week, you can take herbs every day, but eating you're doing all the time, every single day. And people don't realize how powerful food is. So today's topic is really more about teenage health, but really it can also be for adults as well. But I am going to focus a little bit as well on teenagers and how powerful it is, because when we start healing when we're younger, then it's a lot easier to stay healthy long term. You're kind of planting the right seeds at the beginning. The form of diagnosis in Chinese medicine is very different than Western medicine. Whereas Western medicine, you're going for blood tests, things like that. In Chinese medicine, you're taking the pulses. There's 12 different pulses. So there's 6 pulses. Hi, welcome. And there's 6 pulses on each wrist. And each pulse is related to the organs or organ systems within the body. There's 26 qualities of pulses. So it's not just like slow or rapid, as in Western medicine, where you're just feeling the heart rate. You're actually feeling the different qualities of pulses. And all those qualities show the imbalances that are going on within the organs. So what we're eating is really affecting everything in our body. The food is, like I said, it's medicine. And just as you know, when you have some, let's say you have sugar, how it affects your mind. Even having celery affects something differently. If you have okra, it affects things differently. If you have meat, it affects things differently. And then if there's pesticides on things, it affects things. So everything is having an effect on you. And so when you're a child, all these things that we're eating, all the things that the child is eating, we have eaten when we were young, it has side effects, or positive or negative. Either way, it has some effect on our body. And that just builds up, builds up, builds up. And over time, when we get older, we're like, well, why is this going on? Well, why is that going on? We don't connect the dots to how it all started at the beginning, because so much is marketed as food, but there's a lot of factors about food that are really not very healthy. Of course, everybody knows about fast food and all that stuff, but I'll go in a little bit more into how the food is affecting the body and how it's creating certain problems within children as well, and then later on teenagers and then adults. So just to go over again, so these are the acupuncture points. You can see it's showing half the body, but it's really on both sides of the body, front and back, head to toe, there's acupuncture points. There's about 380 acupuncture points, and they have very specific functions. So just the same way you take medicine, acupuncture points are like, let's say you're taking a medicine for your headaches, and what it will do, the point is actually doing something very specific for that organ. So every organ, like I mentioned, the 12 pulses, there's 12 meridians. And each single point on that meridian, there's different numbers. There can be anywhere between 9 points to 67 points on a meridian of the body. And it's doing something very specific. So it's strengthening a certain aspect of that organ's function. It's dispersing where there's a lot of sluggishness within that organ. It's doing a lot of different things. And then what a lot of people are afraid of, especially children, even adults, are the needles. They think, oh my God, it's a needle, it's going to hurt. And most of my patients that come, they fall asleep. And so when teenagers come to me, and I have a lot of teenagers, I just put one needle in. It's like, just so they know what it feels like. I'm like, okay, now I can relax. And then they fall asleep after that. They're just totally relaxed. So I just wanted to, and I wanted to show you also, I brought my needles, but just so you can see, you can kind of see from that, that's the tip of the needle that they're holding, but you can kind of see, like, can you see how thin it is? Like in the projector, it's super, super thin. So this is like nothing, it's like your hair. Nothing to be afraid of for kids. Because there's even kids that are like 5, 6 years old that come for acupuncture. acupuncture. If they can relax, if they can stay still, they'll be fine. And another aspect of Chinese medicine is herbal medicine. So there's about 400 different herbs that we use in the medicine as well. My philosophy is food is the first medicine, always. So I don't always jump to herbs, because just as people are stuck on taking medication, like Western medicine, and then they're kind of stuck on it for life, if you don't change your lifestyle, you're going to be dependent on something, whether it's Western medicine or whether it's herbal medicine. You're going to be dependent on something. Everything has its place. Sometimes you might have to take something, but if you can change your lifestyle and diet and food properly first, then you kind of create the right foundation. And for children, that's the most important, so that you don't have to be dependent on it. I see so many teenagers, they're put on birth control pill for skin conditions, they're put on birth control pill for menstrual problems, and they really don't need to, because when they come to me and I change their diet, they don't need anything. So why be stuck on something if you're not really using it for birth control, if you're using it for other reasons? If you can change your diet to change that. Or for headaches, everything. You can change a lot of things with food. So I just want to introduce you, just so you know, that herbal medicine is part of Chinese medicine, a very powerful. Yes?
So what kind of diet?
I'll explain it. It's not like a one diet for all. There are certain things that across the board are going to make people healthier, and I'll get into that. But every condition that a person has requires different kind of changes in their diet. And also, what's beautiful about Chinese medicine is that it's a very personal medicine. So let's say 10 people come with a headache. The pulses are also part of the diagnosis. The tongue is also part of the diagnosis. You take all of that together with their symptoms, and then you change their food, because the cause of the headache may be different for one person versus another. So let's say one person, they have too much spicy food. The child even have a lot of spicy food, and that's the cause of their headache. Whereas another person is having a lot of sugar, and that's the cause. It's creating a lot of sluggishness in their body, and it's creating headaches. So it's a lot of different things. So taking all of that into consideration, then I give a guideline for the person, child or not. But diet always first, and then in certain circumstances where you have to give herbs, where something just has to be pushed a little bit more strong, even though they're doing all the right things with their lifestyle and their diet, you might have to give a little bit boost, so it's available. It's there, just so you know it. But I always encourage diet first. Educate the person and change the lifestyle. So in terms of diet, a lot of times people don't know, apart from, of course, based on each condition, things that have to be changed, a lot of people don't know what's right or wrong in terms of food. What's the right thing? One huge thing I've noticed, just among people, and they always kind of laugh at me when I mention it, because it seems like such a simple thing, is water. It's unbelievable how much people don't drink water, or enough water, just a little bit of water, 2-3 cups of water. But blood pressure issues, menstrual issues, water is the most important medicine there is. And it is I see it as a medicine in a way. Because you have the hydrogen and the oxygen, and they have a lot of functions going on in your body that they need the hydrogen and oxygen of water to do all these functions. And so if you don't have the water in your system, you're not pulling out toxins from your cells, and you're not helping to bring the nourishments into your cells. And so you have whatever toxicity is building up in your body, because not waste just as like going to the bathroom, but just pulling it out of the blood as well, pulling it out of the cells. Whenever you don't have that happening, you're going to have something happening in your body, because your body's harmony gets off because of the toxicity building up in your system. So that's one thing. Now, where does toxicity come from? So toxicity, I know a lot of people don't pay too much attention about organic, non-organic, things like that. But ultimately, even organic foods receive some kind of treatment, so that other animals don't eat it. But pesticides that are on non-organic foods are a lot harsher on the system. So whenever you're buying produce that's non-organic, you're introducing into your body a lot of harmful toxins, because the body doesn't want the pesticide. The pesticide is supposed to kill the insects or whatever is eating it. It's going to eat the crop that's growing. But all of that is going into your food. Even if you wash it, it's been absorbed. And then if it's genetically modified, it's put into the genes. It's even deeper. And then your body only knows how to figure out how to digest food, not the pesticides on the food, but they're all going into your system. So all of this builds up over time and get, a little bit here, a little bit there is not a big deal, but we're eating every day, everything is non-organic. It's going to have side effects later on, and people don't connect these dots, later on either. And there have been a lot of studies done in Europe about genetically modified foods, and that after 3.5 months of testing, they were shown to create tumors. So a lot of things, two foods, first of all, that are the most genetically modified, which means if you're not buying them organic, you can kind of be sure they're genetically modified, is corn and soy. And they're in everything, absolutely everything. It's not as corn, it can be corn syrup, it can be soy lecithin, it can be as an oil, it's in a lot of things, in salad dressings, of course your popcorn, tacos. Soy itself is a lot, just read the labels and you'll see soy in it in some form or other. So all of this is non-organic if it says if it's conventional, it's going to have GMO. So all of that is going to affect the person's health incredibly. And when you're a teenager, teenagers eat a lot of popcorns and go to the movies and a lot of tacos. So you're getting this corn into your system, and then you wonder, well, why is her menstrual cycle so painful? And you don't connect it to anything. You don't even think about it, But just these little changes, I've seen within 2 months, all of a sudden, all the issues change within a person. You would never think that it would have an impact on them. So that's part of choosing the right foods, choosing organic foods, reading labels. Even when you buy bread, you would think bread only has a few ingredients in it. It really needs just to have flour and water and yeast and maybe salt or something, and maybe some seeds to bring it, some more taste. But you really don't need a lot of other things. But when you buy your bread and you read the label, it's like this long. It's a lot of preservatives, a lot of additives to this bread. They take it out and then put something back in. They take out the nutrients and then we fortified with this or that. So you have to watch all these things, because the further you're going away from natural foods, real foods, as it should be, the more it's going to be a stress on your body altogether as well. So that's another factor to look at when you're shopping and when children are eating. And of course, you've got fast food. I can't say anything good about fast food except that maybe it tastes good. And I always joke with my patients that, if you just put sugar and salt or something creamy into anything, it tastes good. So you can give poison to someone and just add sugar to it and it'll taste good and people will eat it. And lots of these chocolates, Halloween and all this stuff, it's all these food colorings and everything that you have for kids, all the stuff that they're eating is going to impact their health tremendously down the line. But you don't think about it because advertising makes everything look so exciting and all the cereals, but read labels. Well, what's in it? A lot of these colors, they have the reds and the yellows and the greens. They're very toxic and cancer-causing. So this is where it starts when you're a child. So it starts there, and then later on you have cancer, and then you don't know why it came. I was doing okay, but you really didn't. You kind of started off on the wrong foot. So that's why it's so important to have kids start off, on the right foot. And then I have some parents who say, I give organic to my kids, but I don't eat organic, and I don't get that, because why would just the kids need organic? The parents need it too, And of course, people always think about cost of organic being more, but all the cost of hospitals and medications and all the stuff that people go and have to deal with when they're older, if you were to really cancel each other out, you would be paying a lot more for medicine than you would have if you had just bought organic to start with, So all these things, you have to just kind of think about it as well, in terms of food and health, what's really healthy. So basically, my goal with adults and as well as with the teenagers is really to empower people to realize you can change your own health. And Chinese medicine is very powerful. Acupuncture is very powerful. Diet is the most important of all. A lot of my focus is just on that. And to know you can make a change in your health if you change your diet. It's not easy sometimes, but that's why teenage health is so important, because if you start off with certain ideas when you're young, it's a lot easier to implement it when you're older. When you're older, you've lived like 40 years, 50 years, 60 years doing the same thing. It's really hard to change some habits, and only people who either have incredible discipline or they're really suffering. And then they'll make the change. If they're really suffering from their health condition, they just can't take it anymore. And they have that willpower to make the change. But if you learn it when you're younger, you already kind of know some things, you know. And I talk a lot to kids when they come to me because I explain to them. And you can't just say eat vegetables. You have to explain. People don't just who likes vegetables just on its own. I mean, some people do, which is great, but most people don't gravitate towards broccoli when there's chocolate or broccoli. But you can explain what it does to them, then they think twice. And then when they start to feel better, then they start to make different choices as well. Like, oh my God, it really is making a difference. I am really able to concentrate more now that I'm not eating this. So a lot of kids come with depression, and sports injuries obviously is not food related, and menstrual issues for women, and headaches and migraines for kids, really difficulty focusing in school, digestive issues, having reflux even when they're small, or diarrhea or constipation, definitely skin issues that start very young, a lot of anxiety, mono, Lyme disease, and ADHD. So these are a lot of what I see with teenagers right now. And a lot of this, except for the sports injuries, food can change. I mean, along with acupuncture, but a lot of this food can totally transform the person. So they don't have to take medicine or do anything for any of it. So now getting into like one by one, I think you were asking about like what foods for which one. Maybe are there other issues that anyone else has? Any kids or that I don't have up here, so I can also address that. Is there anything else?
I don't know. My daughter, we've had her tested for a bunch of stuff, but she just, what it's boiled down to, she just has a really slow metabolism. She exercises, she eats healthy, but she carries
A lot of weight.
her weight right here, and no matter what she does. And I don't know if that's something that.
Yeah, weight is
Acupuncture
also
or-
I'll make a note of it too. We'll go over that as well with weight, because I mean we have to go into what people are eating, if she's really eating well or not. But I'll just go over some of the things that are important. So let's just start with weight, for example, and then we'll go into all of these as well. So weight, I found, when there's toxins in the body holds on. It's almost like the fat cells try to protect the person by building around that toxicity. And then they don't let go. So it's almost like they make that toxicity latent in the body, and they hold on to it. But when you clear the toxins, the weight falls off a lot faster. Sometimes, a lot of vaccines even, so all of these things are very poisonous for the body, and then it gets harder to lose weight, whether it's through pesticides, through vaccines, other forms of pollution in the body, like drinking in plastic water bottles. A lot of people leave it in their car, even for their kids, and it leaches a lot of toxins into the water. The plastic starts to melt in the heat, and it leaches into the water, and the person drinks it. And so that affects the health too. It can change the hormones of the body, and it's also toxic. So weight can be thyroid issues sometimes, in some cases, but a lot of times it's from a buildup of toxicity, and then you just can't lose it no matter what you do. And also a lot of lack of vegetables. Vegetables are like the broom. I call them the broom because they really cleanse your body of so much, and they reduce your cravings for sugar and a lot of toxic things so much. And a lot of kids don't like vegetables a lot, but they can be put into smoothies, they can be pureed into like soups. They can do so much more to get it into the system, to get the nutrients into the system. And so over time, that starts to cleanse the body, and then you start to lose the weight as well. And then sometimes there's emotional factors around weight too, and then that's a whole other thing that when the kids come, you have to talk to them and see what's going on, to help release that emotion, that fear or anxiety or self-image or things like that. Because Chinese medicine, the forms, there's different styles. You can treat the body just as the body, but you can also treat the body from the emotional perspective, because sometimes the emotions are causing all the problem, and if you don't treat it from that angle, you really can't release the physical problem that the person's having. And then there's also mental issues that a person, not mental in terms of like needing psychiatric help, but like worrying a lot and that kind of things, or traumas that have happened and that they're just, like their mind has become frozen on that trauma. So it causes a lot of physical problems. So there's different angles to treat the person. And the younger they are, the easier it is to treat actually, because they haven't held on to it for that many years. I find actually treating teenagers the quickest, I can get the quickest results with teenagers. Especially if they comply and change the things I say, they just change so fast. Because there hasn't been so many years of buildup of medicines and this and that you have to sift through, and all the side effects of this and that. They're like, okay, where did this come from? You have to be like a detective trying to figure out what's going on. But with teenagers, it's a lot easier. So those are some of the reasons for weight as well. Also, a lot of people drink a lot of cold water, iced water, and that actually causes weight gain because it really weakens the metabolism of the person. So if the person's also having a lot of iced drinks, whether it's water or sodas or whatever, that causes it as well. So those are just a few things off the top of my head, but then when you see the person, it's a little easier to figure out what's causing it for them.
So, but a lot of information online, but I have no idea about how detox this water is. So, how to
Detoxing with
yeah.
water, is that
Yeah.
what you're saying? Detoxing with water?
Yeah, detox water is maybe making with the
Mixing water with something else to
Yeah,
help
right.
with the detox?
Yeah.
Well, water without anything is going to help. If you add nothing to it, just water is important. You don't always have to add something to it. Just drink enough of it. You should be drinking like about 50% of your body weight in ounces. Room temperature water, or warm water, like a tea kind of thing, but without the herbs in it. And also with herbs too, some of the herbs I see, there's so many herbs in them. It's not like just one herb. They're a medicine in themselves. And then sometimes if you don't understand your own constitution and what's going on, you're taking something because it says this is what it does, but it may be the wrong thing. For somebody who already has a lot of heat and they're having ginger tea, it's going to create even more heat in their system. For example, even though ginger is good, but if you already have a lot of heat symptoms, so let's say someone has headaches or something like that, or they're always feeling hot wherever they go, or they're having a lot of night sweats. So this ginger is going to just create more heat in the body. So it's not the right thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just not the right thing for them. And then sometimes it's ginger with 10 other herbs. It's like, well, they're not good for everybody. If you have it once in a while, it's not a big deal. But if you're having it every day, then it's going to definitely have some effects on your system.